Hello, good morning, welcome back to Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host, Andrea, here to bring you more news and commentary you can use. Listen, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Listen, I'm not going to keep you long this morning. I just want to come on quickly and give you another update on the potential rail strike. You all know, if you look at the different videos on the channel, if you search through the videos, you will see where I have been covering the rail strike, potential rail strike, for quite some time now. I reported I believe I reported on the rail strike a few days ago. I was sharing with you all that President Biden had not only called on Congress to intervene, but at the time that the House, the U.S. House of Representatives, passed a bill in order to avert or avoid a potential rail strike. Well, I'm coming on to let you know now that since that time, since the House passed the bill, okay, it went on to the Senate, okay, and the Senate, they took a vote. It passed, from my understanding, and as of now, as it stands, Congress has blocked a rail strike. Okay, now let me talk about a few concerns that I have with that. Okay, you all make sure you let me know your thoughts on this as well. So, I'm just thinking, based on the research that I've done, research and reports, the railroad workers, they have been in talks, in negotiations. The railroad workers, the union that represents them, as well as the railroad companies, they have been in negotiations for quite some time now. So this is not something that just started happening a few months ago or anything like that. They've been talking and trying to come to an agreement for quite some time now. I told you all also that the railroad workers were concerned about paid time off, sick time off, paid sick time off, I'm sorry. Excuse me. They also had a concern about their pay per hour, I believe. Okay, you can go back and look at the different videos that I covered on this. And so from my understanding, from my research, just based on my research, the railroad workers, they feel very strongly about, some of the things that they're demanding: better working conditions, better pay, more sick time off, things of that nature. And it didn't really seem, based on, what I've read and watched, reports and news coverage, it doesn't seem like they, were so willing to back down. Now, if you remember, a few months ago, President Biden announced what he made what seemed like at the time a premature announcement that they, we were avoiding a rail strike. Remember, this happened a couple of months ago. We've been here before, right, with this. And even at the time, even though he came out and spoke before the railroad workers union, before the railroad company could make a speech, he came out and said that. Now, some people may argue that he was trying to save face because at the time the important midterm elections were coming up, and he wanted to come out and reassure the people that somehow they didn't have to worry about a rail strike. Okay, now we could say that this is also the current case, right? I know in Georgia, where I already early voted. I'll talk about that soon, but we have these runoff election coming up December 6th. Is he trying to reassure people in Georgia and the American people that, hey, we don't have to worry about a rail strike? Now, I won't keep you much longer, but here's where I have some concerns, right? First of all, why does Congress have to intervene? Why should they intervene in a situation like this? Some people are saying that these are private companies involved, railroad companies, and there should not be any government intervention. Okay, you let me know your thoughts on that. That is concerning, I feel, because if Congress, it seems like, with everything going on, it basically seems like Congress is intervening to just plainly say, okay, you better come to work. We're going to force you. We're blocking this railroad strike or this rail strike, and you got to come to work, or whatever consequence there is. And speaking of consequences, with the labor shortage and worker shortage, I'm not sure if there are enough qualified railroad workers that could just pick up, if there were still to be a strike. I don't know if there's enough qualified railroad workers to pick up where they left off and, just jump in and work. Okay, so that's another concern that I think that people really need to be worried about. And even the people at the negotiation table, hey, there are not enough people available and qualified to just jump in and fill in and work with these people. And keep the railroad transportation system going. So that's one concern. Why is Congress getting involved? Why are they forcing them? Why are they forcing them to still work? Why is Congress getting involved? Why are they forcing them to come to work? Why is it so hard for them to just come to a mutual agreement? Why are they not listening to the railroad workers? A lot of times, we hear, especially during election seasons like we are in now, we hear, we're for the middle class, working class people. But in this particular situation with the rail strike, it doesn't seem like they really are. Now, I think we all could agree that we don't want, a railroad strike to happen. We know that would cripple our economy and cost billions of dollars a day, and potentially make it harder for people to find the, goods that they need in stores. But, it's really concerning. If Congress can intervene, and I know that there are some laws and legislation in place so that they are able to do that. But if you think about it, if Congress is able to intervene in the railroad system, okay, and say, no, you're going to come to work. Who's to say that Congress, think about if Congress got involved in your job. Think about your career, your field, your line of work. What if Congress made you and forced you to come to work? Think about that, okay? A lot of people say, hey, that's just another method of control. Think about that. So that's a concern, okay? Please let me know your thoughts on this in the comment. I think this is a really good topic for us to discuss, a very relevant topic. So I talked about Congress. Another concern I have, what if, even with Congress coming in and putting a block to a railroad strike, what if somehow the railroad workers say, we don't care about that. We're still demanding what we want. We feel like it's better pay, better working conditions, more paid sick time off. What if they say, forget what Congress did, we're still not going to work until these conditions are met? They don't necessarily, they have the right to choose, whether they have a right to make a decision, right? But what if the railroad workers still choose not to comply with what Congress has done? And what if they still go on strike? Now, I believe the deadline for all of this, you all can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the deadline is December 9th, which is coming up. That's what the next Friday. So, that's something else for you and I to think about. What will next Friday look like as far as, whether or not this deadline was met, and what would happen if the railroad workers did not comply with the bill that was passed by Congress to block a railroad strike. Why is it so difficult for people at the negotiating table to side with the railroad workers? Is it that they feel like they're asking for too much? We're all human. We all have families. We know that things come up. And from my understanding, now I've never worked on the railroad system. I do know people that have, and they are away from their families for quite a bit of, of time, maybe a day or days, okay? Now, some people could say, well, they make the choice to work there, okay? And you make the choice to work wherever you at or do whatever you do. And for a lot of people, that is a good source of income to support them and their families. And we know that in some communities, maybe the railroad system is the major area of employment for some people. And so, you know, let's not be so. I feel like I can't tell you what to do, but I don't think we should be so critical when it and say, oh well, they made the choice to do this or made the choice to do that. For some people in certain communities, in certain areas, they don't have many options as far as employment. So, you know, I salute the men and women who work the railroad system. I know for many people this is probably a difficult time, having to make a choice between, okay, do you stick to your values, what you believe in, or do you go along with what you're being basically forced to do just to keep a job to provide for you and your families. And all of this is going on around the holiday season. And I don't really feel like this is something that they should be dealing with, or anyone should be, you know, worried about or fearful about. You know, are they going to be able to keep their job, or where's their next source of income coming from? But you and I know that, you know, this is the world we're living in. A lot of things are changing. A lot of things have changed. And, you know, many people, sometimes I even wonder, is it really about control? So you all let me know your thoughts on this topic. I appreciate your support. Make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and I want to hear from you. So please let me know your feedback, and I'll talk to you all soon in another video. Stay tuned. I have more news and commentary coming. All right. Y'all have a great day.